Welcome everyone to Heart of the Woods, the second visual novel by Studio Élan, the game development studio devoted entirely to girls love visual novels. This is the beta, containing the first chapter of the game, and it's out on February 15th, so let's check it out. I have not read it yet. I went to Wonderland. That's how this place was pitched to us. Out in the middle of a forest, with an unpronounceable name, in a village that time forgot. In the email, it sounded like every other ghost hunter's paradise that we get messaged about, isolated and antiquated, with a tourism board encouraging hokey effects and gaudy billboards. The vast majority of those emails go unanswered. If Tara wasn't so capricious, this one probably would have too. But no, something about journeying to the middle of nowhere for a month struck her fancy, and like always, I let myself get dragged into it. So here I am, for the last time. The train beats out a slow, monotonous rhythm beneath us. It's an older machine, the sort that looks like it's supposed to take us to a wizarding school that should be in a museum. Lots of visual novels like using trains at the start, don't they? There was one I played a long time ago. I'm trying to remember now. I want to say it might have been an Erage, like late 2000s. I'm not certain, but I know it started with the noise of trains, and I will never forget that because the noises were written as ka-chunk. And it was just ka-chunk, 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 the noises of a train, and it was like, okay, I guess that's the noise trains make now. Also, we're early in, there's already a Harry Potter reference. Read another book. Oh wait, let's continue. When I bought the tickets, I thought we'd be getting on something like Amtrak. Oops. I shifted my seat, the tattered cushion and wooden boards doing little to soothe the pain in my back. We've been on this train for 12 hours. I can feel every one of them in my bones. Oh, a 12-hour train ride, that's rough. I think the longest I've been on is like 7? Tara's been out for the past 6. Upright but fast asleep. If the bumpy ride bothers her, she doesn't show it. The paperback she was reading dangles low in her hand, in danger of losing her spot in the book. I scuff my feet across the floor, kicking at nothing. As tired as I am, I'm afraid for our journey to end, for Tara to wake up, to have to talk to her. I'm almost offended that she can sleep. She should be as preoccupied as I am, fighting off intrusive thoughts and wondering what to say. You wouldn't know from looking at her that we've barely spoken for 3 days. That's how long ago I told her that this would be our last trip for the show together, and that I was quitting once we got back home. Everything since then, packing, booking our tickets, finding someone to take care of the cat while we're gone, happened in a blur. We've been cordial, but that's it. My heart hurts, but it tells me I made the right decision. Yawning, I lean back against my seat and pretend it's comfortable. The cushions are unnoticeable, nearly as firm as the wooden floor beneath us. A heater in the corner hems and haws like an old man, but it's not nearly as powerful enough to fight off the chill. I desperately wish that I could sleep too, but one of us needs to be awake when we get to the station, and that should be any minute now. Plus, I've never been able to fall asleep on planes or trains anyway. My eyes are sore, and I rub one of them as I press my cheek to the cold window. Outside, it may as well be another world compared to the city we left behind. If not for the moonlight, I wouldn't be able to see anything, but the soft, white glow makes the snow and nearby forest glisten like it's under some sorcerer's spell. A winter wonderland. The trees are all bare, except for the blanket of snow that covers them. Their empty branches look like something out of a kid's Halloween movie, shaking in the wind as if possessed. They seem to stretch on forever, farther than I can even see. It's more like an ocean than a forest. Morgan certainly wasn't exaggerating when she said this place was remote. It's not a forest, it's an ocean. Now that would have been a twist in Alan Wake. Intermittent lights flicker among the trees in the distant darkness, which I assume come from either winter campers or hermits. I'd call them crazy, but I'm about to be in the exact same position. Something catches my eye, way out in the woods. One of the trees, barely visible, seems to shake in a different way than the rest, as if blown by a different breeze. A thin layer of frost is beginning to form on the outside of the window as I push my face against it, turning to try and find whatever it was I saw. It's gone though. It was almost certainly never even there to begin with. Either my eyes were playing tricks on me, or the moonlight was. I sigh and sit back again, allowing my eyes to barely close. I won't fall asleep, I'll just... I'm jostled back into alertness as the train lurches harder than before. There's a shrill whistling sound, and the shudder of the train grows stronger as we begin to slow down. The driver hit the brakes. We're almost there. Across from me, Tara is undisturbed. Somehow she still hasn't dropped her book. Apparently she's less clumsy when she's asleep. Through the frosted windows, I can see the light of what must be Eisenfield. Eisenfield? Eisenfield. I'm gonna go with Eisenfield. Eisenfield, as we approach the station, they're few and far between, like scattered stars. The buildings appear to be placed sporadically, nestled on and around a hill. As we round a bend, the village goes out of sight once more. I can't really put this off any longer. I lean over and shake Tara's shoulder. Hey, wake up! We're almost there. Without opening her eyes, Tara mumbles her response. How close is almost? Seriously? I don't know, a couple of minutes? Okay. I'm getting up. She isn't getting up. I mean it, if you sleep through the stop, we're going to... I'm up, Mads. She finally opens her eyes. I cut off the end of my sentence, not sure if I was serious or not. Not even there yet and we're already snappy. God, I wish I could sleep. Just a little longer, I tell myself. You excited? A little bit. Lie. You? Kinda nervous still. What is there to be nervous about? We've done this 1,000 times. Yeah, well, this isn't like those other 1,000 times. And you know that. She shrugs again, not meeting my eyes. I don't know, Maddie. I'm sorry. Let's chill. Yeah, sorry. We lapse into silence. At least when she was asleep, it wasn't awkward. I just want off this train. I want to be distracted by going to the cabin and taking in the new sights. Any minute now. Hey, listen. Yeah? I know you're like not super thrilled to be here. She pauses, likely hoping for me to disagree. I don't. But let's just be cool, okay? Let's just try and have a good time. I breathe a deep sigh and let it out slowly. She's right. I committed to this trip, I can at least make it easy on myself. Yeah, okay. Sorry for getting bitchy, I'm tired. I feel you. Hey, how do I look? Like you just slept for 6 hours on a train. That bad, huh? She messes with her hair in some attempt to improve its state. The results are unnoticeable at best. Hopefully it's good enough for Morgan Fisher. If she's meeting her online hero or whatever, then I doubt she'll care that your hair's a mess. God, I hope not. I don't want to end up some fashion faux pas vid. On some fashion faux pas vid. For real though, if she's super fangirl, then let's just get it out of her system and hopefully she won't make things weird later. Making things get weird later is kind of her specialty though. Yeah, True, but hey, it got us 250,000 subs, so like, it must have been doing something right. I just nod. I still can't help but fixate on how everything she says is past tense. It's over after this. It's fully my decision. All I have to do is say the words and things will go back to normal. I doubt Tara would ever bring it up again, if I asked her not to. It'd be so easy. That's a good little opening bit there. It's always, as someone who herself also does visual novel writing, opening monologues in particular is like one of the hardest things, in my opinion, to get right. Because you want it to go on for a bit to truly set up the tone and setting and character, but not too long to where it becomes dreary. But it can also easily get too short, and it's like, it's one of the most difficult moments in writing out a scene. It's the first opening monologue. Because there are exceptions, but almost every visual novel opens with an opening monologue. We step off the train and into another world. And I realized I probably gave Tara and Maddie a bit too similar voices here, but oh well. Not much I can do about that now. I can try and alter them a little bit. A frigid wind saps the heat from my body almost immediately, as if it had been waiting until we arrived to pelt us until our skin felt like it was burning. I instinctively wrap my arms around myself to try and preserve what little body heat I have left, but it doesn't change a thing. I might as well not even be wearing a coat for all the good mine does. As nice as it is to have the moon keeping things from being completely pitch black, I could really go for some cloud cover right now. Anything to keep some warmth around us. Tara doesn't even notice the cold. Armed with nothing but her signature jacket, she seems immune to the chill. She oohs and ahs all over the rustic train platform like there might be a ghost hiding in the rafters. Just a minute later, the train rumbles off into the night, leaving us behind. Not a single passenger boarded. Tara watches it go, nodding in approval. Okay, this place is already killing it in terms of atmosphere. It's like she completely forgotten the uncomfortable energy that filled the train, back to her usual overly excited self. I should probably be bitter, but instead, I can't help feeling jealous of how she can just shake it off. She has a little pocket camera that she's been carrying with her, and she uses it to take a few pictures of the inky blackness surrounding us. I glance upwards at the lights which hang from the ceiling. They're small candles, lit with real flame as opposed to electric. One of them has blown out and swings uselessly in the breeze. All the ones we can see are still lit up. Oh well. They're about as ineffective at keeping away the darkness as my coat is at keeping me warm. The low light will surely ruin Tara's photos, but she's snapping away without a care. You know, none of those are actually going to be visible, right? She ignores me. I should probably just let her enjoy her moment. I mean, it's not that dark going by the background. This place really does feel super eerie, listen! I do, and it soon becomes apparent what she's referring to. The silence. All around us, it's quiet. Even the sound of the train has faded, leaving us in total solitude. The flickering lights of ice and fields seem impossibly far away, though I know it can't be more than a half-hour's walk. It's so quiet, isn't that cool? We're definitely not in Kansas anymore. That's one way to put it. I strain my eyes and ears, looking for any hints of Morgan, who's supposed to be picking us up. You'd think the sound of a car's engine would carry pretty far out here. For real though, I think this could be the place where we finally get some hard evidence, something solid. She says this every time, but she usually sounds like she means it more. Just look at it. Something's gotta be out here, I can feel it. We both looked towards the trees. From the train, it was difficult to see where they ended. Here on the platform, it's impossible. My expectations aren't any higher than usual though, which is to say, non-existent. I wonder if Tara really believes what she's saying either. When she speaks again, her voice is quiet. That would be the perfect send-off, wouldn't it? Her words sting. Damn it, not here, not already. I want to try and deflect away from this somehow, to set her back on her path. Let her enjoy this moment without me spoiling it. Who knows, maybe this will be the one that finally gets you to a con panel so you don't have to crash someone else's. That was one time, and their panel would have sucked without me. Her voice has the edge of her typical bravado again. It's a relief to hear. She returns to her camera, and I give myself a moment to try and take in my surroundings. Supernatural or not, there's something oddly serene about this place. That said, I'd like it a lot more if it wasn't so damn cold. I shiver and cross my arms even tighter. Surely Morgan will be here soon. I can't wait to see the village tomorrow. I hope it's like one of those museum exhibits with the little replica towns and people. In what way? Like, architecturally. That's a difficult word. She sounds out the word slowly. Yeah, I should have done that too. Like, architecturally. Whatever it was. I've never said that word before. All rustic and old-timey. I can't imagine they'll be that different from home. They've got to be modern enough for Morgan to watch Taranormal after all. It's called Taranormal! The show is called Taranormal! I love that. If you're expecting people to be walking around in monocles and waistcoats, you're going to be disappointed. And here I thought I'd finally get a chance to show off how amazing I'd look in a top hat. I'm sure you'll be the teen heartthrob of the Victorian era. She gives me a brief snort of amusement. Her responses feel more muted than usual, but the fact that we're still able to banter is a good sign. I'm glad that I can cheer her up, even if I was the cause of her low mood in the first place. However, after a moment she looks back at me. Her expression is serious for once. Okay, so about Morgan. Like I said before, let's give her a chance to get all the excitement out of the way first. We should be nice and friendly, but let's try to keep it professional. I never thought I'd hear you of all people say that. I found myself flashing back to all the unprofessional situations I've had to extricate Tara from, ranging from bad one-night stands to actual police custody. There are a lot of ways I could describe Tara, but professional is definitely not one of them. Hey, I usually make a good first impression. It's just the second impression and beyond that you gotta watch out for. I laugh out loud at that, and I catch her smirking before she looks away. She can play cool all she wants, but I can tell that from the way she's bouncing up and down that she's undeniably excited for this fangirling she mentioned. It's usually one of her favorite parts. I'm sure a little ego boost will go a long way right about now. I can feel myself hopping back and forth slightly as well, but that's more out of a desire to keep my blood flowing. I'm reading too fast. Thankfully, it isn't too long before I can see the silhouette of someone approaching through the storm. Oh, thank God. That's gotta be her, right? Given that we're the only people out here, I really hope so. As the girl gets closer, she gets easier to see. She's not exactly an imposing figure, but she moves with purpose. She's carrying a large thermos, which she raises in greeting as she approaches. I wave back. One of the first things I notice about her is that for some ungodly reason, she's not wearing a coat. All she's got on to protect herself from the frigid weather is what looks like a hand-knit sweater, much like Tara. Once she reaches the platform, she greets us with nothing more than a tired smile and a small nod. Not exactly the geeking out Tara was expecting. Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late. Her voice is friendly but oh, okay. Sorry. Hey there, you two. Sorry I'm late. Her voice is friendly but flat. She sounds like she hasn't slept in days. Tara looks a little bit taken aback by how subdued she is. Recovering quickly, she puts on her big celebrity grin. Oh, no worries. Are you Morgan? That's right. It's really nice to meet you, Tara. Morgan's smile does seem to grow warmer as she greets her, but her face quickly regains a neutral expression a moment later. I can see Tara's smile faltering as she realizes that this is clearly the maximum amount of geeking out this girl is capable of. To her credit, she recovers well. Likewise! Charmed, I'm sure. Okay, maybe not that well. Tara extends her hand and Morgan gives her a brief handshake before turning to me. You're Madison, right? I think we spoke online already. Yes, Maddie is fine. Nice to meet you. She shakes my hand as well. It's a firm, friendly handshake that ends as quickly as it began. Before she continues, she takes another sip from her thermos. I find myself wishing for a cup of coffee too. It really is nice to meet the two of you. I'm sure you receive a lot of invitations, so I'm glad you were interested in mine. Are you kidding? A remote village in the middle of a huge forest? There's no way I'd pass that up. I've heard all kinds of stories about the things you'll find in places like this. Hopefully not too many, or I won't have anything new for you. I'm sure you get something I'll be interested in. Real smooth, Tara, so much for being professional. I can see Morgan's mouth twitch slightly at the comment. I can only hope it was something closer to a smile than a grimace. Tomorrow I can show you around the village. There isn't too much out of the ordinary there, but I'm sure you can find a few things that interest you. That'd be wonderful. We can go sightseeing when Tara is not chasing spirits around in the woods. Morgan and I both smile. Tara flashes me a look of mock annoyance for the slight. But it's probably eating her up that I got more of a reaction out of Morgan than she has. It's about a half hour's carriage ride to the cabin if you guys want to head out. Do you need help with your bags at all? Tara lifts her bags, giving Morgan another shiny grin. I'm pretty sure I see her accidentally flex her arms too. Psh, don't even worry about it, I got this. Okay, cool. This way. As we follow her, I can see Tara pouting behind her. I've never seen the wind get taken out of her sails like that. At least it gives her another thing to think about besides my departure. Wait a second. Did she say carriage? No way! We're standing in front of an honest-to-God horse-drawn carriage. If it weren't for the little white puffs of breeze coming from the horse's nose, I'd be willing to believe there was some sort of commemorative statue. This is so cool! Is it yours? It belongs to my family. Given that there aren't any roads through the woods, there isn't really a point to anyone out there owning a car. I move closer, examining the craftsmanship as best as I can in the moonlight. The design is fairly bare bones, but a few flourishes here and there of some semi-ornate painted finishes make it clear that this was something built with love and care. Oh, this music is nice. Somehow, I'm the only one who seems intrigued by our ride. Tara, come take a look at the... As I speak, I look back and see her standing completely still, as if the cold has her rooted to the spot. Give me a sec, I'm just taking in the view a bit, from a distance. She's trying to act nonchalant, but her wide eyes keep flicking towards the horses. Her previous genuine grin has turned to a very nervous grimace. Slowly inching forward, she scoots further away from the horses as she approaches the carriage. I doubt she planned for part of her first impression to be Morgan learning that she's absolutely terrified of horses. Aw, poor thing. She had better at least learn to tolerate them, or this is going to be an even longer trip than I expected. Wait, if this is the only way through the woods, how are we going to get back and forth between the cabin and the village? Don't tell me we'll have our own carriage, neither of us can drive one. Oh, I'm going to be driving you. I can take you back and forth and help you navigate the woods. You didn't expect me to just let you wander around the forest in the middle of nowhere without a guide, did you? Tara, still slowly making her way towards the carriage, does her best to give me a look of excitement. If anything, it resembles the look of a panicked hostage. The fact that she's still trying to play cool is almost admirable in its futility. You're sure that's not any trouble? I'd hate to inconvenience you any more than we already have. It's no trouble. I run my own shop, so my schedule is pretty flexible. I'm more than happy to help. She looks over at Tara, who has finally made it within a few feet of the carriage. She shoots us both a thumbs up. I have a feeling she might need it. Trust me, you have no idea. Morgan turns and deftly swings up into her seat, taking hold of the reins. Tara finally manages to place her hands on the carriage and climb up to sit alongside her. Shaking all the way, I let out a sigh of relief and follow suit, mounting up next to Tara. It's a little cramped up here, but I feel weird just sitting by myself. Besides, not keeping an eye on Tara is a pretty guaranteed way of making an even worse first impression. So, can you do any tricks in this thing? So I'm guessing Tara and Maddie are not a couple yet, because they've only talked about her leaving the show and not like that in some way being strenuous to any other relationship beyond friendship. Which, you know, it's common. Most girls' love stories do start with characters not already in a relationship. There are exceptions. You have Love Guitars and the Nashville Skyline, as well as Highway Blossom, which are both about a road trip, funnily enough. And there are other ones as well. Otherwise, it's normally that either you have, you know, old friends getting together throughout the story or meeting that special someone early on in the story. Alright. Sorry, just need to drink a little bit of tea there to clear my throat. The path to the cabin turns out to be a complicated one. We've been making twists and turns through the trees for a few minutes, but Morgan seems to know exactly where she's going. Not even the dark can stand in her way. You can navigate through all this with just a little lantern? How can you see the landmarks? Don't worry, I know these woods better than just about anything. Besides, the moonlight is more than enough for me. I can't help but feel embarrassed as I think about all the times I had to use the flashlight on my phone just to find something I dropped in the car. I definitely wouldn't last out here. Looking over, I can see Tara bouncing her leg, probably about to launch into a torrent of questions for Morgan. After that flub introduction, she's clearly a little less gung-ho than usual, but I know that won't stop her. As such, I should probably get my handling of the actual adult stuff out of the way quickly before it gets lost in the noise. Is there anything about the town or the people that we should know? Local customs, things to avoid saying, that sort of thing? Morgan thinks about it for a moment. Silent. There's a curfew at midnight. Also, you're not supposed to go too far into the forest. I ignore both of those rules a lot. Most of the villagers tend to be sticklers about them, though. Great, so our host is a troublemaker. I guess that means Tara will be in good company. So while we're on our way, could you maybe tell us about some of the specific supernatural occurrences you've seen out here so far? Here she goes. Morgan sits up at the question. She looks over towards us, her eyes seem to lose a bit of their constant drowsiness. She's been waiting for this. Well, we have a lot of freak weather events, strange storms that appear and disappear, or are localized to certain parts of the forest in ways that shouldn't be possible. Tara nods solemnly, already totally enraptured with what Morgan is saying. Sometimes, when I walk in the woods, I can see strange lights here and there, like tiny little stars inside the forest. I've never been able to get close to them, though. I raise an eyebrow, but don't say anything. We've had countless cases of strange lights before, all of which have ended with a rational explanation. It doesn't seem to dampen Tara's spirits, though. I start to drift off. This is more Tara's jurisdiction anyway, so I'm sure they can just wake me up when we get there. There's also my cat. Your cat is a supernatural occurrence? She can talk, so I'd say so. Oh! Okay, this is what I get for keeping my research on this game light. Holy shit. So a cat is Salem. Oh wait, they rebooted Salem to not be talking anymore, so that reference doesn't work with... The reference doesn't work anymore. God damn it. So she's Luna. There, that works. Her words snapped me out of my trance. Looking over at her, I expect to see her holding in a laugh or sporting some kind of mischievous grin. But her face is as serious as it's been since we arrived. Your cat can talk? Like, talk the way a human does? Yes, she's very well spoken, in fact. I tried to hide a sigh. Weird weather and lights in the wood are... lights in the wood. That should be woods. Little error there. Are ambiguous enough that we can play along with them. But every so often we get these blatantly fake claims too. Like a talking cat. A talking cat? That's the name of a movie. Tara, however, instantly perks up once her words sink in. She can't actually believe her, right? So can we talk to her? She won't mind if I ask her a few questions, right? I was hoping you'd ask. I think you'll be very interested in what she has to say. The whole thing is clearly some kind of joke, but Tara is absolutely taken in. I can practically see the wheels turning in her head as she plans out her follow-up questions. That's never good. So, do you have any ideas about what could be causing it? Something in her diet, maybe? I don't think so. Have you been feeding her some kind of special Eisenfield cat food? Can I try some? Oh, okay, I think that's enough of that. When Tara starts talking about eating cat food, it's time for me to exercise a little diplomacy and move the conversation forward. Crazy or not, I think we should move on. So, what kind of things has she talked to you about? Just about our lives for the most part. I figured you'd be better off hearing it from her rather than me. I'm sure that'll be illuminating. I'll say, if there's something that paranormal in the village itself, you must have seen way crazier stuff in these woods. She starts a gesture as she talks, pointing back towards the village and swinging her arms around as she mentions the woods. Well, there's one pretty major thing, but you probably won't believe me. I wouldn't have come out here if I didn't believe you. Anything you have to say, I want to hear. I can't detect a hint of cynicism in her voice. Either she really believes this girl she has met has a talking cat, or she's giving a performance worthy of an Oscar. Are you sure? 110%. Lay it on me. She winks at her and flashes her finger guns, back in celebrity mode. Tara's good at recovery with these things, but I've never seen her recover on this level with such speed. As I watch her lean in towards Morgan to make sure she catches her next statement, I realize another possible reason for her passionate response. Okay, now we're talking. If the one thing she loves more than hearing strange stories is trying to impress a cute girl. Now things are starting to fall into place a bit more. Well, one of the main reasons I called you out here is... I'm not sure if it has a name, but it's some kind of forest spirit. Spirit? Like a ghost or something? No, something physical. Some sort of massive creature, like the forest came to life. Okay, this is new. Even the crazier fans don't get this outlandish. But Tara is absolutely eating it up. No matter what her reasoning is, I'm glad she's having a good time. Is there anything else you can tell me about it? Does it speak or anything? Have you managed to interact with it at all? Is it more kaiju size or more basketball player size? I've only seen it once, unfortunately, so I don't know too much about it. I've searched for it a number of times since, but without any results. Who knows? Maybe you two will have better luck than I have. That's what you're best at, isn't it? In terms of talents, I'd certainly say it's up there. Morgan's mouth turns up into a small, but seemingly genuine smile, and her expression grows slightly less intimidating. I knew you'd believe me. Nobody else around here does. I can't imagine why. I feel a pang of guilt as that thought crosses my mind. As crazy as the story sounds, it can't possibly be easy feeling rejected in a community this isolated. No wonder she was so eager to bring us into the fold. So, how far away would you say we are from the cabin? We should be coming up on it any minute now. I'll help the two of you get situated and then head back. I'll be happy to tell you more about the spirit tomorrow. Thank God. Oh yeah, great, that's great. I'm exhausted. That much isn't a lie. All I want to do right now is pass out. We pass the last of the houses that I can see, but the sparsely marked path continues on towards the forest. The last traces of civilization are behind us now. By any minute now, what exactly did you mean? I can't keep the biting tone entirely out of my voice. Yes, ahead. See? She points forward into the darkness. I strain my eyes to see anything other than murk. Finally, I spot the faint outline of a small cabin, practically swallowed by the forest. I started the heater before I left to get you, so it should be warm. That's what I like to hear! You're like Prometheus! I'm surprised you know who that is. Why? I love that movie. Tara goes on my... Tara has bad taste. She seemed so dreamy, and then turns out that she likes bad Ridley Scott movies. Morgan suddenly jerks the reins and the horses come to a stop. Tara and I are rattled from our seats and nearly fall forward. Wait, that joke doesn't even work. There's nothing about fire in the Prometheus movie. In fact, there's not even anyone called Prometheus in the Prometheus movie. Okay, so I'm assuming that Tara was joking then. Either that or the writers didn't watch the Prometheus movie, which, I mean, you shouldn't, so yeah. Damn it. What happened? Rather than answer, Morgan just glares into the darkness where the cabin is. I strain to see what she does as my heart starts to race. Is it a wild animal? A bear? A wolf? There's the sound of footsteps as a shadow detaches itself from the cabin and moves towards us. A human shadow. An older woman comes into view, stopping just at the edge of the lantern's light. She's clearly related to Morgan. Her angular features and steely eyes, barely visible in the dark, make her look like she stepped out of a Baroque painting. Why are you here? Oh, default Ren'Py font. I recognize that. I've been working with Ren'Py for over a decade, so yeah. I came to greet our guests. I really need to think of more interesting voices for these, huh? I came to greet our guests. That will do. She spits the word ow. Oh, okay. Our guests. I suck in an involuntary breath as she approaches. Being able to see her more clearly isn't a reassurance. If anything, it's the opposite. Something about her radiates hostility. Even the horses seem uncomfortable. Their ears pressed back as they stamp their feet in the snow. She looks pretty good for her age, I'd say. Up close, her gaze is sharp and fierce. Her face is proud but sunken. Cheekbones jutting as if her face isn't quite fit. It makes her look older than she... Oh! Well, sorry then. I thought it was the other way around, that she was supposed to look young for her age until she was older. Well, either way, it's that middle ground, I guess. Which of you is Tara? Mouth drawn thin, she looks from me to Tara and then back again. Each second that passes makes the discomfort grow. I keep waiting for Morgan to intervene, but she doesn't. Tara and I exchange a quick, nervous glance, then she clears her throat and leans forward, offering a handshake. That's me. The woman regards Tara's outstretched hands for a moment, and ignores it. Welcome to Eisenfeld. Is it Eisenfeld? I've been saying Eisenfield this entire time. I must have misread it. Welcome to Eisenfeld. My name's Evelyn, the mayor. Who are you? Her attention flicks to me like a hand on a clock. I'm Madison, Tara's manager. I see. It's clear that she's judging us, though I have no idea on what. Are you done yet? They're tired, you can interrogate them later. Just what exactly is she volunteering us for? Interrogate is a strong word. Our host makes absolutely no effort to disguise the loathing in her voice. In a town as small as this one, I can't imagine that speaking to someone as important as the mayor like that is a good idea. Though Evelyn appears entirely unfazed. She remains in the middle of the trail, blocking our path. She and Morgan stare each other down while Tara and I sit in painfully uncomfortable silence. After a least a minute, the mayor finally steps out of the way and heads back up the way we came. We'll speak later. It's clearly a command, not a request. The carriage sits immobile until the sound of Evelyn's footsteps are lost in the night. And even beyond that. So she seems nice. Her statement seemed to snap Morgan back into the present. Morgan flicks the reins and we begin moving again. She turns around to face us, looking genuinely apologetic. I'm so sorry about that. I thought she'd at least wait until tomorrow and I'd have some time to prepare you beforehand. Is she your mom? Technically. What? No way, how can you tell? The family resemblance. Morgan purses her lips. Not an expression I'm familiar with. Unfortunate, isn't it? Long story short, I didn't tell that you were going to be staying here until this morning. I'm speechless, hoping that's just a joke, and the punchline fell flat. But Morgan's clearly serious. For the second time in a handful of minutes, I'm wondering what we've gotten ourselves into. Tara laughs, though I can tell it's forced. Well, that's no big deal, right? It's not like she runs your life. Silence. Right? Eventually Morgan nods. Right, we should get into it right now, though. I'm sure you'd rather sleep tonight. I can see Tara gathering the breath to disagree and tell Morgan that we'd love to hear all about her family issues right now, so I head her off. Yeah, we would. Whatever family drama it is that she got us involved in, I can at least wait until I'm not about to pass out. The carriage comes to a stop just a few feet away from the door. A small stone path has the snow cleared away from it and leads to a short flight of stairs. We're facing a large window, although it's dark and impossible to see into. Morgan vaults out of the carriage, nimbly landing on her feet. I'll unlock the door. Your luggage already came in too, so it's inside. Oh, they shipped the luggage separately? Huh. How much did they bring? I mean, if you're on a train, why not just bring a travel case? I mean, I go on a train a lot, and I bring a lot on the train, so I'm used to carrying multiple big bags and travel cases onto trains, and I can't imagine they're bringing more than that. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Tara launched herself out of the carriage just like Morgan did, and just flipped around all of a sudden. Okay. And then she quickly scurries away from the patient horses, eyeing them for any sudden movements. I climb down as she stands an extremely safe distance away. I can't carry all this on my own, you know. I thought all their stuff already arrived. I toss her bag and she lurches to catch it, barely keeping me from landing in the snow. We stand back and watch as Morgan fiddles endlessly with the lock on the door, pushing and trying again over and over. Now that we're so close to the end, I can feel the last of my reserves of energy rapidly draining. The bags in my arms feel like they weigh 1,000,000 pounds. So, what do you think? She mutters as quietly as she can, though her timing couldn't be worse. I think I want to go to bed. Same as ever, then. You know me. Rub my arms, I peer into the forest. Just beyond the first few lines of trees, everything fades into an inky blackness, thick and impenetrable. I shiver, not entirely because of the cold. A cool breeze rattles the empty branches as they scrape against each other, mimicking the way I'm trying to stay warm. Finally, there's the banging sound as Morgan solves the mystery of the lock and nearly falls through the door. She pokes her head back through like nothing happened. That's cute. That's really cute to have her like sort of like look in like that. It would have been even cuter if she slid in with a slide animation, or maybe slid up with a slide animation. Just completely going for like ultimate cuteness there. I don't know. I got it open. Hallelujah. I haul my way inside and into the blessed warmth. It's been so long since we've been near a working heater. A small lamp on the side table casts a bit of light over the small room. Our luggage, as promised, is scattered haphazardly around the living room, just like home. Tara slips past me to bounce around and examine it all. Her bags hurl as carelessly as I pull them out of the carriage. Oh my god! Holy shit! This is so cool! There's nothing really out of the ordinary, so I stand there and wait for her to get it out of her system. Isn't this the coolest? It's like staying in a history museum. Well, that's the kind of thing you usually treat like a punishment. Are you kidding me? I love history. We even did a whole series on the history of cryptids in the American Midwest. And I spent like 3 months on that special about Bigfoot's impact on the Great Depression. That's one of my favorite episodes. I'd never heard of the theory that FDR was a cousin of Sasquatch. Okay. Sure. To be fair, I don't think FDR did either. Morgan laughs and I just roll my eyes. I mean the kind of history that actually happened. History is doomed to repeat itself, Mads. I don't even respond. That whole episode felt like the plot of an awful low-budget B-movie. Instead, I crossed the living area towards a tiny hallway with a pair of identical doors. These are the bedrooms? That's right. They're the same size, so there's not much of a difference. Guess I'll take this one then. I push open the closer door. Inside is just 4 walls with a bed, a shelf, and a small dresser. I drop my bag on the floor and roll my suitcases in. Tara lingers in the living room, talking about the features of the cabin with Morgan. Suddenly, I hear yelp in pain or horror. I rush back out, knocking over my suitcase and nearly slamming into the door as I go. I half expect to see Morgan holding a bloody knife or something, but instead it's Tara just holding her phone. What happened? A tragedy. Actually worse, the apocalypse. Check out your phone. I do as she says, expecting a news article or an alert or something, but there's nothing. What? I don't have anything. Exactly! No service out here. I check. Sure enough, she's right. There isn't the barest trace of a signal at all. What about Wi-Fi? I assume we have that, right? Technically. Oh no. I stocked up on books and downloaded a bunch of new films before we left, since I wasn't expecting to have much of a connection out here anyway. But I'm willing to bet that the thought never even crossed Tara's mind. Good thing I packed a few books I think she'll like too. Tara glumly pockets her phone again as Morgan gives us a small smile. Let me give you the quick tour. I don't think it's entirely necessary since we can see everything ourselves, but I don't stop her. This is the kitchen. It's a stove and an oven. The stove is somewhat picky and doesn't always like to work. Actually, I guess it's the same for the oven. Don't worry, I don't know how to cook anyway. Yeah, you're doing really good impressing the cute girl there, Tara. Over here is the fireplace. I can show you how to chop firewood sometime if you like. I think I might pass on that one. This is the couch. You can also sleep on it if you like. It doesn't unfold into a bed or anything, but I sometimes come here and sleep on it anyway. That doesn't even surprise me. The Wi-Fi password is on the note by the phone, so it's my phone number, so you can reach me anytime. Do you have any questions? I shake my head and look at Tara, who does the same. I think we're good. Thank you for your help tonight, Morgan. It was my pleasure. Again, I can't thank you enough for coming all the way out here. I'll be sure to make it worth your time. I'm sure. Can't wait to get started. Me either. But I should probably be going for tonight. I've kept you up long enough as it is. She heads out the front door, waving goodbye. Night, Morgan. Thanks again. Good night. Through the large window, we can see as she starts to make her way down the path. I'm gonna go to bed too. Yeah, same. We switch off the lamp as we head to our respective rooms. Tara grabs her bags from the floor where she tossed them. Alright. See you in the morning then? Yeah. Night. I shut the door behind me, and she does the same. I sway like a zombie as I stalk towards my bed. It takes the last of my strength to dig my pajamas out of my suitcase and change. There's a window here that looks straight out into the forest. The first thing I do is pull the curtain shut. Crawling into bed, I face away from the window and pull the blanket up to my shin. It's heavy and warm, and I wrap it around myself like a burrito. The bed is firmer than I'm used to, and the pillow thinner. There are like 3 other blankets though, so I ball one of them up and use it as a second pillow. Pro tip, very good to do. You can also do that with like a hooded shirt or the like. I used to I have a tendency to forget to bring certain things to conventions like pillows, and I used to not have like an inflatable mattress or anything like that. In case you don't know, at Swedish conventions you pretty much always stay at a sleeping hall overnight. There are people who do go to hotels instead, but generally you sleep in the sleeping hall. So you have to bring your own sleeping stuff. And whenever I forget my pillow, which is often, or I feel like I wanted more than one pillow, I just take my like 1 or 2 hooded sweaters, because I always have at least 1 or 2 with me, and just roll them up. It works really well. Like, saves space and luggage too, so that's good. As I try to get comfortable, my thoughts start to drift off. A detached part of me is glad that the timing worked out well enough to avoid jet lag. And in all, aside from the Wi-Fi, this is pretty nice as far as accommodations go, especially since we're not paying for it. It seems strange that Morgan would come all the way out here just to take naps sometimes. But I can already tell that most of what Morgan does would be considered strange. Strange but harmless, I don't mind. Strange but harmless, I don't mind. Oh, okay. Strange but harmless, I don't mind, but when I think of her mother, the mayor, a chill runs down my spine and I bundle myself even more tightly in the blankets. I should give her a second chance though, especially if she didn't have any warning about our arrival. It stands to reason that she'd be annoyed at Morgan renting out her family's cabin like that. When I think of it that way, her reaction seems pretty justified. I'll just be extra polite to her next time we meet. Hopefully it isn't an interrogation like Morgan said. That was probably just her being dramatic. I yawn, wishing sleep would come faster. I expect to be out before my head even hit the pillow, not lying here with my thoughts racing. I try to block out everything and focus on my breathing. In, out, in, out, in. My heart leaps to my throat as I bolt upright in bed. I get tangled in the blankets, scrambling to haul them off me. With one hand, I desperately feel for my glasses nearby. I finally find them and shove them onto my face, nearly jabbing my eye out. With horror, I look to the window, the one that made me uncomfortable from the start. It's Morgan. And that's where we will stop for today. Ooh. So this is pretty good so far. I like it. I like the art style a lot. I think the presentation with the art is really nice. Like the way they used the regular sprites to fit into the carriage was really cool. Like even though the sprites were clearly drawn standing, it still worked just fine having them in the carriage. So that was neat. The sound design is nice. The soundtrack is really nice so far. It's been a variety of tracks already, and none of them have been distracting from reading, which is always good, because that's a problem some visual novels have, is that they have music that takes up too much space that you sort of get lost while reading. At least that's a problem I have with some visual novels. The writing is solid. I like the monologuing. Maddie seems like a fun character to follow this from. Tara is very fun. Morgan seems very interesting. I'm looking forward to the talking cat. Yeah, I am digging this so far. I don't know how long chapter 1 is, but I reckon it's pretty long, because it's a visual novel chapter. They tend to be pretty long. And I don't know, maybe we will finish it in 1 more video or 2 more videos, something like that. I will try and get the whole chapter 1 beta done before the release of the game in February. And yeah, this was a good first impression. There were a few typos here and there. I pointed them out. There's still time to fix those, and I'm sure they have plenty of beta testers right now, so I'm considering I'm one of them, apparently. I mean, that must mean that there's a lot of them, because I'm not exactly some well-known visual novel player, reader. I always struggle with what to use, read or play, because, you do both. Maybe this is a kinetic visual novel with no choices, I don't know, but still, like, you play a visual novel and you read a visual novel. But you mean, it's the thing where I guess you also listen to a visual novel, just like you listen to a game and a movie, but while also watching and playing, etc., etc. So I guess either works, really. It's one of those things that's just pointless to argue about. But still, I'm enjoying reading this so far. I am looking forward to finding out what Morgan is doing outside our window. I'm looking forward to finding out how the relationship between Tara and Maddie starts going from just friends, because they're clearly just friends right now. And maybe they've been a couple in the past and we haven't gotten to that fact yet, I don't know. But since Tara apparently is down for flirting with girls and used to have one, and usually has one night stands, and they're sleeping in separate rooms, they're most likely not currently a thing. I mean, that's been explicitly stated, but that also just points to them not being a thing. So I'm pretty sure they're not. And if I'm wrong about that, then I guess I'll be proven wrong. But looking forward to that. I like the setup a lot as well. I really like the setup of basically, these people going out to make a YouTube show in the middle of nowhere. And I don't know if this is going to be like horror at all, apart from the fact that we're looking right now at someone staring at us through the window, or if it's just going to be sort of horror themed in terms of supernatural mysteries. Again, I only did minor research on this, despite following Studio Élan since formation. Is it Élan? Élan? I don't know. Pronunciation's hard. Despite following them since they formed, like the day they announced that they were a thing, I've been following them. I try to not read too much about visual novels before playing them, because I like being surprised. It's fun. So, yeah, this is very good so far. I'm gonna say before I forget to do that. And, this is nice. Boom! Chapter 1, Resemblance. And, yeah. We will continue this soon. Bye.